I'm doing my speech on same-sex marriage. I got my information from lifelongadoptions.com, about.com, mortgageloan.com, and turbotax.com. Love. Love is a crazy thing. A lot of people crave love and need love so bad that it gets to the point that they would do just about anything to find that one person to spend the rest of their life with. You can't help who you love. It's funny who you can fall in love with. Love comes in all different kinds of circumstances. Growing up, I always thought that, for me, the guy had to be older than the girl, but not too much older. And the guy had to be taller than the girl, and that it was always a boy marries a girl. As I grew older, I realized that that's not the way it is. The guy isn't always older than the girl. People marry all different ranges of ages and different heights, and even have it where guys marry guys and girls marry girls. You can't help who you fall in love with. So in the end, it shouldn't matter the height, age, or sex. What should matter is how they make you feel and that you're happy. So why is same-sex marriage not completely allowed in today's society? Do you feel that it should be? Here's what I have to say. Let me ask you this. How would you feel if you fell madly in love with someone and everyone told you that you couldn't do it just because it's not the norm? If you couldn't marry someone because your religion didn't allow it because that is not what God intended, or because it isn't legal, the government simply would not allow it. I know that I wouldn't like that. I know there are plenty, if not all, ministers or clergy who will not marry two people of the same sex because that is not what it says in the Bible and it's an abomination. I understand that it is against the Bible. Leviticus 18 verse 22. Do not lie with a man as one lies with a woman. That is detestable. But God also wants everyone to be happy. 1 Timothy 1 verse 11. According to the glorious good news of the happy God, with which I was entrusted. God is a happy God. We were made in his image, so he wants us to be happy too. God will love you no matter what. Jeremiah 31 verse 3. The Lord appeared to us in the past, saying, I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. According to the audience analysis that I did with my research, there are 16 states that allow same-sex marriage. Only 16 out of the 50 states allow people to love who they love. I find it incredibly sad that if there are lesbian/gay couples in Wisconsin who want to get married, they have to go to a different state to do it, or just simply not get married at all. You can't help who you fall in love with. Marriage is a lovely thing that is shared between people. You gain so much when you get married. You get another family that you get to know and love. You get to be with your best friend for the rest of your life, and you get lots of benefits that can help you both in the long run. There are many good reasons to get married, true love and compatibility being among the best. No one would suggest that you tie the knot simply to acquire the tax blessings of the Internal Revenue Service. But the tax code does provide a few wedding gifts to those who say I do. Sometimes only one person in the marriage has to file the taxes, which in the end costs less money and requires less time. They can also get on their spouse's health insurance, which can end up being cheaper than being on your own insurance by yourself, and you can get more benefits from that. Paying the bills is cheaper because you're with someone instead of paying them all by yourself. There are many perks that can come from being married, and I don't think that certain people should be denied those benefits just because they don't marry the people that they're supposed to. Love shouldn't have any restrictions. When a person gets married, they perhaps move out of their parents' home or their own home and get in their own place with the person you marry and begin to start your life with. But with all the laws that discriminate against gay and lesbian couples, it's hard for them to get houses. Gay and lesbian couples are in a unique situation when it comes to mortgages and home purchasing. The problem lies less in getting a mortgage or purchasing a home than in what happens to the property if the relationship breaks up or if a person dies. Only 16 states recognize lesbian and gay relationships. In those states, they were not written with legal rights of lesbian and gay couples in mind. Many states predicate their property statutes on marriage. In most states, lesbians and gay men have no or limited legal rights, but a good lawyer can help you protect yourself, your partner, and your property, separate and joint. It's funny to approach and starting a new phase in a relationship and buying property by thinking about what might happen if that relationship ends. But that kind of planning is crucial. If a couple is buying, they need an agreement in writing. If you have one partner who puts down more and they break up 10 years later and the house has to be divided, you have a mess. They need to work this out in the beginning. What is the difference between a man and a woman owning a house or a man and a man owning a house? Because honestly, I don't see a difference. Imagine receiving a phone call that your partner or child has been in a terrible accident or the victim of a life-changing event. A call that we dread in everyday life, during times of war and natural events. The fear and anxiety is overwhelming as you scramble to the nearest hospital or make frantic calls to see if your loved one is indeed okay. Gay couples in committed relationships and with adopted and natural-born children face family crises like this every day. However, they are left powerless to make medical decisions or maintain their lifestyle through benefits and aid should the worst happen. Without the legalization of marriage everywhere, this is a struggle that same-sex couples could possibly face. Would you like it if you couldn't make any decisions for the person you love if they desperately needed it? I know one thing that people think that is wrong with same-sex marriage is the fact that the child doesn't grow up with a normal family with a mother or a father, and a father. They grow up with either two fathers or two mothers. But to me, that shouldn't affect everything. Since people in same-sex marriage cannot have kids of their own, they generally tend to adopt. There are actually a lot of advantages of having parents of the same sex. Many gay couples form relationships that are more stable than many heterosexual marriages, thus giving adopted children a secure emotional home. Children that grow up in same-sex households will be more sympathetic to differences and are more likely to believe in equality for all. Children raised in same-sex households are even more open-minded about different lifestyles than children who are raised in opposite-sex households. Also, good parenting is not influenced by sexual orientation. Rather, it is influenced profoundly by a parent's ability to create a loving and nurturing home, an ability that does not depend on whether a parent is gay or straight. Also, same-sex relationships have been proven more stable than heterosexual relationships, setting a better example for the child involved as to how to have a healthy, stable relationship. Setting a better example for it shouldn't matter if the parents are the same sex in a marriage or if they are of opposite sex. Two good parents is better than one good parent. Gender makes no difference. I truly do believe that today's society is becoming more accepting of a same-sex marriage. I know that people who grew up in the earlier 1900s are not as accepting as those who are in their 20s now, because we grew up in a day and age where same-sex marriage isn't completely unusual. At the end of the day, the opinion of that matters is your own. You only have one life to live, and if you find that person who you love with all your heart, whether they're the same sex or opposite sex, no one's opinion should matter but your own. Your love life shouldn't bother other people, and if it just so happens that does, let it. Just because society says that something is wrong doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. And with same-sex marriage, it's not. I say that people should be allowed to love who they love, because I know you can't help who you fall in love with, and if it's meant to be, it just happens. I just want to know one thing for the people out there who are against gay marriage. Does their love life affect your life that bad? Do you lose sleep over it? Does it affect your health? If it does, I think you have bigger problems in someone's life. I think you have bigger problems in someone's love life. As Mother Teresa had said, if you spend all your time judging people, you won't have any time left to love them.